This video is for you if you're tired of starting over. This video is for you if you are tired of feeling guilty, even if you're eating normal food. This video is for you if you're tired of restricting your life. This video is for you if you're tired of losing the same 10 to 15 pounds. This video is for you if you want to lose weight without hating yourself. This video is for you if you want 2026 to be your healthiest era. When it came to weight loss, I was literally like the queen of starting and stopping. And I would kind of go into this cycle of where I was like, oh, I would restrict, I would go hard. And then I'd go on this binge spree. And it was just like restrict, binge. And it just became this like never-ending cycle. And I don't understand like why I couldn't stick to it. And honestly, I thought I was the problem. Spoiler alert, I was not the problem. So I'm going to be doing a series, and this series isn't about, the perfect diet or some crazy 6-week challenge. It's actually about building a life and body that you actually love being in. So here we are in this beautiful Christmas holiday season. Everybody's doing Vlogmas, which is like, Christmas themed content throughout the month all the way up until pretty much Christmas. I'm going to be realistic here, and my ADHD brain is not going to allow me to have content every single day. So I'm going to be giving you guys 12 videos before Christmas. Each one is going to help you step into the next chapter feeling lighter, just like mentally and physically. And we're going to be starting with something I wish someone told me at the beginning of my journey. Let's just be real. Restriction is not the way. If restriction actually worked, y'all, I would have been skinny probably 30 diets ago. Not gonna hold you up. And it didn't work for me at 18. It didn't work for me at 21. Didn't work at 25. So I knew for sure going into my 30s, it just wasn't gonna work and I had to find a new way. So I know y'all have heard that saying that was going around social media a little bit ago, and it was just basically like, you're not a dog, so stop rewarding yourself with food. And I ain't gonna lie, that one kind of struck a nerve with me because I honestly feel like in the beginning of my weight loss journey, I used to always like work so hard. Like I used to be going like 2 hours in the gym and I'm like, okay, I can have, a piece of pizza. And I would feel guilty about it. And it's like you spend all of this time burning yourself out or simply just restricting yourself like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And that's not a way to live life. So the thing about restriction is a temporary obedience tactic. And like I just told you guys, you're not an animal. So we have to figure out ways to lose weight without actually restricting ourselves. And I feel like restricting yourself is the number one way of advice that's going around online. When you think about it, that people are doing, the 75 hard, or they're doing, no carbs or all fruit or only juicing. And it's like that stuff works temporarily. That stuff might help you lose, 5 to 10 pounds before your vacation. But that's not something that is sustainable and that you can continue to do. Like in my weight loss journey, I honestly, the eating part was the hardest part. I used to work out 2 hours and I would be burning 1,000 calories, but I was working out so hard and restricting what I eat. So when I finally did eat, I would have the
craziest binging episodes where it was like I physically could not stop myself from eating.
And I mean, this is just a trigger warning for people who may suffer with like eating disorders and such like that. It's gonna be a lot of like just talking about food, counting calories, like restriction, how to go about things. And if you're triggered by that, you might need to exit. Like I said, it's a short-term obedience tactic. And in actuality, if you're thinking about it, you are treating your body as if it is something to control instead of learning to partner with your body and figuring out what works best for you. Because that's another thing, like there are all these blanket diets, blanket workouts, blanket statements, and they don't work for everybody. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Everybody's makeup is different. So everybody might need to do something a little bit different. Like the formula might be the same, but the outcome might be different. So you have to figure out what works for you. And this is especially to my ladies out there. There is so much like advice on fasting, and I'm not saying fasting is not good. I'm not saying that you shouldn't fast, but in all actuality, being a woman, and if you're still having a cycle, hormonally, you are not supposed to fast that much. I do think there is an optimal time for fasting. Eventually will jack up your hormones trying to literally starve yourself, go work out on an empty tank, and then it's like, all right, I did this for 2 months and I'm not seeing any weight loss. And that's a real story. Like, that's a real story for me. Like, I was doing all of this fasted cardio, fasted working out, juicing. And I remember, like, my mother-in-law was like, oh, how much weight did you end up losing? And I'm like, I think I only had lost like 5 pounds or something. She was like, you didn't eat for a week and you only lost 5 pounds. And like, it didn't click then because this was like back in 2020 and I think I was like in my 200s in 2020. But like, I was just like, this is hard. I just felt like my body was just working against me and I was just failing. I'm just like, what the heck? Why can't I figure this out? When it comes to having like long-term sustainable weight loss, you honestly just have to learn to work with your body. Like I said, if you're a woman, you can't be following the same kind of rules and regulations that men do because your body is just different, babe. I don't know about y'all, but like when somebody tells you you can't do something, that makes you want to do it even more. So in all actuality, restriction triggers rebellion. Like if somebody tells me like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, I'd be like, you need to do that. Like I'm going to wash the dishes. I was going to wash the dishes, but now that you asked me to wash the dishes, I can't obviously wash the dishes. So restricting somebody, it triggers this rebellion within you. When you keep on telling yourself no, telling your body no, your body's going to eventually start pushing back and your mind is actually going to start pushing back. You may do good for a week, but you might go into a binging episode once you even lay your eyes on something sweet or just even food. Like I didn't have a bad trigger with like sweets or something. I just was eating too much food. But if I kept telling myself like, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. When I finally got my hands on some food, even if it was healthy, it was just like this nonstop. Like it was literally, like I said, your body will push back. It was like a physical thing that I could not stop. I could not stop eating. I know. And don't be judging me because I know it's other people out here that may have a problem with eating too. Basically, binge cycles aren't a lack of discipline. They're simply a response to being deprived. When you go so hard and only restricting yourself, you honestly burn yourself out mentally before your body can even adjust. It is so much like thoughts and like ruminating thoughts that come with like the restriction. It's like, oh, when am I gonna eat? Can I have this? Can I have that? Let me look up the calories. Oh my God. They say don't do seed oils. They say don't do this. They say don't do that. And it's just like it becomes so much mentally that you might check out before your body can even adjust to whatever you're trying to do. Listen, I was a girly who was overweight her whole life. I lost 70 pounds. And let me just tell you how this long-term game works. When it comes to eating, I had to learn to feel safe eating. There was like a lot of like emotional trauma with the restriction and the binging. And it was just like, I didn't feel safe. I didn't know what I can eat. I didn't know like what the heck my body was going through and why couldn't my body just drop the weight. And you have to learn to get in a space to where it's like, you have to have a balanced diet. You have to have a balanced plate. You still be able to have things in moderation, but you can't be super rigid. So something that worked for me is learning to eat more nutrient dense food, making sure I'm getting my fiber in. When I say nutrient dense, I'm talking like, okay, have your protein, have your veggies and your fruits for like antioxidants and fiber, have your carb, have a potato, have the pasta, have the rice, but don't go overboard. Like learn the portion size. That's really the biggest thing. It's the portion size. Another thing I think is important, and I say this all the time on channel, you have to stop labeling foods as good and bad. And it's not a black and white situation. There are foods that are fun. There are foods that you have at the movies. There are foods that you eat in the summer. You should not deprive yourself of having popcorn at the movies because you're worried about the scale. in all actuality, everything that happened before the movies and after the movies, as far as like what you consume, is actually what matters. That little bit of popcorn is not gonna knock you off track. It's the things that you do after. It's how you finish up the rest of your week. And we have to, like I said, you have to stop looking at it at such a like black and white kind of situation. Something that I had to learn to do was learn to work with my body. If you are not familiar with cycle syncing, I do have a video, so I will link it over here for you guys. And it's just basically like a cycle syncing 101, so you can know that you have to learn to work with your body. As a woman, we have these 28-day cycles. We can't eat the same thing every week. We can't work out the same every week. And honestly, we shouldn't be making certain business decisions on certain times of the week, but you have to learn to work with your body. I feel like we're in this society where it's so male dominated and it's always go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. That does not work for women. You need to be soft. You need to be slow. You need to figure out what phase of your cycle you're in and support yourself as far as your workouts and what you eat. Because honestly, you're not going to feel great if you're not nourishing your body in the correct way. And the correct way to nourish yourself and to really optimize your weight loss, optimize your hormones, is to cycle sync. This point is actually strictly dedicated to my short girlies out here. I'm a girl who's 5'2", and when it comes to weight loss, it can be a little bit tricky because if you go, do the calorie calculator and it tells you like, I work out 5 times a week and I should be eating 1,800 calories. I ate 1,800 calories and I saw that scale just start to creep and creep and creep. And then you'll get online and they'll say like, 1,500 calories is not enough for a toddler. 1,400 calories is not enough for a toddler. But baby, for me to maintain my weight loss, I have to eat 1,400 or 1,500 calories. Anything more, I'm gaining. Promise you that. And when I say this part is dedicated to the short girls, it's because like as a short girl, you don't realize this, but you have a way smaller like calorie expenditure than a taller person. And it is truly based on your height. So a way that I kind of learned to finagle that, because I do like to eat, I just learned to move my body more. And there's also so much like bad stuff that people say about that online. I had said something like, I make sure I get my 10K steps, or I do my cardio. And this man just commented like on my post, like, but you don't have to do all of that cardio. Yes, I do have to do all of that cardio because I have to burn the excess calories. And they say, just lift weights. Okay, sure. Lift the weights. But at the same time, that cardio is going to burn them little extra calories a little bit quicker. Now they do say the more muscle you have on your body, the better your body, burns the fat. But I'm not like a muscle mommy. I left that in the past because I don't know. I just feel like my body does not like lifting heavy weights. I prefer to do things like Pilates or bar. Like I like to be in slow movement with myself because I'm not a freaking bodybuilder. I'm just a girl who wanted to lose a few pounds. The best advice that I can give you is when it comes to a weight loss journey and getting out of that habit of being like so restrictive, you have to make an identity shift. I think the moment that I stopped trying to be perfect, it all changed for me. The moment I stopped doing the 2-hour workouts, the moment that I stopped always kind of just like thinking about food, only thinking about healthy stuff, like that is the moment where it changed for me. I simply started to envision the woman that I wanted to be, envision the body that I wanted to have. And the results kind of just stuck because I was not forcing myself to do something. I subconsciously set myself up to be in vibration to catch that. And it sounds very woo-woo. I know it sounds woo-woo, but the moment that you just kind of let go and release, like, and just relax, like, yeah, I know I'm gonna have that body. I know I'm gonna lose that weight. The weight started falling off. I like to do visualization exercises, and I just kind of think back. I was thinking about this morning, like back in my apartment where felt like I was struggling to lose weight. I used to remember, like I used to sit on the floor of my shower and just visualize how I wanted to look. I would sit in the sauna and visualize how I wanted to look. And it's just like, now we're here. And it all came from the point to where I just had to make that change in my brain. Like, we're just going to walk in that vibration. We're going to show up as if, and it's going to become is what it is. And that's what happened. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what happened. And let me just close with why this actually matters to you. Weight loss is not supposed to ruin your life. And when you think about restriction, it's just like, oh. And if you're a person who's been struggling for weight for years, it's just like you are going through life miserable on the same hamster wheel. Honestly, if you make it fun and exciting and really just visualize, like I said, it's supposed to be you growing into the version that you want to be. It's supposed to be honestly like a beautiful experience. Like when I look back, I'm just like, dang girl, you did that. Like in the moment, I had my moments where I'm just like, oh my God, this is taking forever. But like I said, when I made that identity shift, that weight started to fall off. When it comes to restriction, I kind of feel like it leaves you in a space to where you're stuck, where there's no flexibility. And that's not how weight loss works. And that's not how life works, because life be life, man. Like you're going to go through so many different seasons of life, and the same thing is not going to work in each season. So if you're feeling stuck, adding more rules to your plate is not going to make you successful. You honestly need alignment in that time. You have to figure out where you need to be. What do you need to change? Like, honestly, sometimes you really just need to sit back and relax and just figure out, okay, this isn't working. That isn't working. Let's figure out how we can create balance and harmony within our life. And that's why I say this video is really for the girlies, because I feel like women, we carry so much weight just in general from life. And it's just like you have to learn to really work with your body and not be so hard on it. Like I said, it's not a black and white situation. I don't not have, junk food in my house. But like now it's to the point to where it's like, okay, I used to be scared of a bag of tortilla chips. Okay, we have the tortilla chips. So what? Get back to your regular scheduled program. That is my motto. Get back to your regular scheduled program and everything will work out. So all in all, I just want to say, if the restriction methods haven't been working for you, it's not meant to, because it's not sustainable. It's not realistic. You need to create more of like habit-based things. So it's like, all right, I know I get up at 6 and I'm going to, go to the gym and I'm going to be excited about it. I'm not going to go to the gym thinking that it's a punishment. You need to do things that are supportive for your hormones. Like I said, look into that cycle syncing. It is so good for your hormones. I'm telling you, this might be TMI, but my period used to be like 7 to 10 days. The moment I start cycle syncing, I got like a 3-ish 4-day period. Like I'm officially one of God's favorites. But do that good hormone support, and cycle syncing goes beyond just what you eat. Like when you're in your menstrual phase, you're not really supposed to be working out. And that's another thing. It's like the mental piece. It's like you feel bad if you don't work out because you're so restrictive. And it's like that doesn't work if you're in your menstrual cycle. You really should be chilling. You really should be wrapping up whatever like business stuff. You need to just be chilling. In your follicular phase, all right, you're starting to get a little bit more energy. You can start going to walks and doing like little low impact stuff. Ovulatory phase, it's time to go hard. It's time for the Orange Theory. It's the ideal time to fast. It's time to do the heavy lifting and things like that. And then when you get into that luteal phase is so freaking long, y'all. But it's just like so dragging. Like I have a pretty bad luteal phase. But when it comes to that luteal phase, I think that's where a lot of people begin to mess up on their weight loss journey. And it creates this cycle of like, oh my God, I gained 10 pounds, I gained 5 pounds. And it's just like you eat all of this stuff because you are not supporting your body hormonally. And I promise you, if you learn to eat what your body needs at that moment, it'll help you with that urge. It'll help you with that balance. And the thing about it is you cannot look at this as it's black and white. Still have the things that you want, but have it in moderation. And I hated hearing that, but it's so like true. It's really not have it in moderation. It's really just have a serving. And in America, we just eat way too much food. They give us way too much food. Like if I want Chick-fil-A, I go to Chick-fil-A and I order either a kid's meal or I get grilled nuggets and a kale crunch salad. That's my go-to. Anywhere that has a kid's meal, I'm getting a kid's meal. If I go out with my husband, we sometimes split stuff because it's like, don't eat all your food. don't eat it all. It's too much for you. And if you're a person who's like having those binge sprees and stuff like that, don't bring it home. Don't bring your leftovers home. Don't have certain things in your home. And that's not being restrictive, but replace those things with healthy alternatives. That's something that I did in the beginning. I always had healthy alternatives in my house. I had, Greek yogurt bars. I had veggie trays. I had chocolate, dark chocolate. Air popped like these popcorners, so freaking good. But like, just have those healthier options in your home, so it's not like when you get in front of the fun food that you lose your mind. And it's also like, still give yourself that maybe once or twice a week, so you don't lose your mind when you get in front of it. Like at my job, I feel like it was like every time, like, all right, I'm about to go on a diet. Next thing you know it, your job has pizza, they have donuts, and it's just like, let me just have some, because you feel like you're restricting yourself. Okay, if your job has donuts, eat a half a donut and throw the rest away. If your job has pizza, eat the pizza and get the little side salad. But your next thing that you need to do is just have a balanced, nutritious meal. It's that simple, guys. All in all, restriction just doesn't work for you. You have to learn to find, sustainable things that you can continuously do, and that comes from building up habits, doing things that you actually like, and that is learning to really truly build more self-trust with yourself. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow along for more videos like this. Like I said, we are in my Sleigh with Sierra series, so we have 12 videos that are going to get you ready and get you prepared to be in the body that you love, creating a life that you love, and really just stepping into the woman that you want to be. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.